Hi everyone! As a new mom who has just given birth, I thought it would be interesting to share my personal experience as well as to break down the costs associated with childbirth in Singapore. If you're interested in knowing how much to deliver a child in Singapore, how much expenses you need to prepare before in ahead of time, or whether the amount that the government provide in the baby bonus is enough to cover the expenses, this video is for you so that you know what to expect. I'll cover everything from prenatal care to delivery options and postnatal expenses. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ying Ying and Now Realize is a YouTube channel where my partner and I share our realization about life and happiness as we pursue our goals. Previously, we shared about a breakdown of our wedding costs as well as how we managed to keep our budget less than 10,000 USD. And today we would like to share our realization about the cost of childbirth in Singapore. So congratulations if you're pregnant. This is an exciting time for you and you might be already starting to research information about giving birth, right, and taking care of a child. I'm looking over there because my son is awake and he might be grumpy soon. Anyways, you might be starting to research about which gynae to go for and what to expect throughout the entire pregnancy. I remember feeling very overwhelmed when I was pregnant after hearing about the high cost of pregnancy from my friends, like how much it is to deliver in Singapore. To prepare myself, I've researched on the cost so that we could make smart decisions and to save up money for the child. Yeah. Okay. Say hi. Can you see yourself? Can you see yourself in the video? Okay. Normally babies, or at least for mine, they're grumpy when they're awake, when they just wake up. I don't know why. Let me give you a quick overview of my pregnancy. After moving into our new house in May, we found out that we were pregnant in July. I opted for private care for my entire pregnancy and I had a natural assisted birth at Mount Alvernia Hospital. Generally, I had a complication-free pregnancy and birth, quite manageable in terms of the cost. The costs were within my budget. However, do remember that every pregnancy is unique. The cost might differ from person to person. Therefore, I prepared a downloadable planner that includes a checklist of the things that you have to prepare and the potential expenses of childbirth in Singapore. This will include costs from your pregnancy to birth. In addition, it will also include a list of things or baby items you need to prepare, such as feeding items, like milk bottles, as well as diapers. So I include the links below. The first cost that will be incurred will be your prenatal cost. The prenatal care includes all the costs with regards to checking in with your gynae, any medication, vitamins, and undergoing the various screening tests such as OSCAR test or NIPT. The first decision to be made is to choose whether you want the public or the private route. Generally, choosing the private route but expect a shorter waiting time, more personalized care. It's going to be more expensive than the public route. For me, I chose the gynae based on my friend's recommendation and my own research. And overall, I have a good experience with Dr. Adrian Woodworth. I didn't have to wait too long when I visit him. Usually the waiting times is about less than 15 minutes. He allows me to eat sushi in moderation, of course. So when I visited Dr. Adrian at week 8, I was offered the package, and the package basically includes 13 to 15 doctor visits throughout the entire pregnancy, ultrasound for each visit, prenatal vitamins, and folic acid. Oh, as well as the protein and sugar test for each of the visits. So that's the basic test. Hello. Hi. You're so distracting. Yeah. The package when I signed, it was 688 plus. Based on my research, is that such packages are usually offered after the first trimester, which is like, after 12 or 14 weeks at other doctors. But for Dr. Adrian, it was offered to me when I was 8 weeks pregnant with baby XYZ. And to me, I feel that it was really worth it because, if you divide it by the cost per visit, I paid about $50 per visit. During the first trimester, you probably visit him every 2 weeks, and then when you hit the second trimester, you would visit him every month. And at the third trimester, start from every 3 weeks, gradually closer to the delivery date, you will visit him like almost every week or so. So all in all, I visited him for about, I think, 14 times through the pregnancy. Oh, you're so loud. Therefore, on my first visit, I paid about 896.65, which includes the package as well as some medication. At around like 11 to 13 weeks, you will actually test for Down syndrome. Either you choose a OSCA test or a NIPT test. So the difference between the OSCA test and NIPT test is that the OSCA test is a screening test. We scan and then take some measurements of the baby's neck, I think, as well as nose, to see whether the baby has Down syndrome. So it's like a probability test, while NIPT is really a blood test, the DNA and how much chromosomes you have. So that is the more accurate test for the NIPT, and therefore it's actually more expensive. For us, we choose the OSCA test. After that, at 20 weeks, you will have another detailed scan to see whether he has his fingers, his legs, his toes, and so on our second visit, we paid for the OSCA test, and all in all, we paid $744.70 on our second visit. Thereafter, we don't really have any more big payments with Dr. Adrian, and they were all like really small amounts for like the glucose test, the whooping cough vaccine, and the group B strep test. All in all, for prenatal care, I paid $1,779.25. This includes all the prenatal costs, the doctor visit, as well as the various tests, the vaccine. Overall, the cost would differ depending on which gynae you choose, whether it's a public or private route, as well as any complication that you would face during pregnancy, and any medication or test that you need. Next, we come to the largest bulk of our spend, which is the hospital delivery. In Singapore, you can choose either the private or the public hospitals. Private hospitals generally are more affordable, while private hospitals allow more personalized care as well as better amenities at a higher cost. The delivery fees can vary depending on the delivery type, as well as the hospital and the ward type that you choose. For me, since my gynae is private, I could only deliver at a private hospital. I preferred Mount Avenue, and most of my friends deliver either at Thomson Medical or Mount Avenue, and because I visited both places, I felt that Mount Avenue has a better vibe and environment, so I chose that. And I have friends who experienced both hospitals. They felt that while the food at Thomson is better, care from the nurses at Mount Avenue, it's much better and more loving. Okay, next, let's talk about the hospital packages. There are various types of packages offered by the hospitals, and it depends on the type of delivery and the ward size or the bed you choose. The type of rooms or ward size, it depends and range from 4-bedder, 2-bedder, 1-bedder, or even like family suite. And for me, I went for the lowest tier, which is the 2-bedder at Mount Avenue. When I delivered baby XYZ, there was no one else who occupied the bed space beside me, so it felt like I have my own personal space. The only downside, if you wish, is that your partner can't stay with you throughout the period, and for me, I prefer it that way so that Jingles can actually rest at home and then visit me the next day. And so because he didn't stay with me, we also did not have to pay for the extra companion fee that can come up to like $100 per night. Anyways, here are the different packages that Mount Avenue Hospital offers. Mine was assisted natural with epidural in a 2-bedder ward, and I stayed for 2 nights since I had natural birth. Other than the hospital fees, there are also additional costs that you have to pay, which varies from person to person. One fees that you have to pay for is the doctor fees, and there are 3 doctors that you have to pay for, or minimally you need 2, the gynae and the pediatric. And if you go through epidural, you will also have to pay for the anesthetist. Next, it's the consumables. It's like the extra things like medication, whatever you consume in the hospital that's outside of the standard package. Because I had to induce my delivery, I had to pay for additional medicine. When I delivered, there was various pain management that was given to me. One option was laughing gas, and I think there were 3 options. I remember there was laughing gas, something else, and epidural. I straight away just got epidural because I knew I have a low pain tolerance, and there's no point paying for the other types of pain relief because epidural is the most effective one. So all in all, the hospital bill, it was $11,642.61. And it's split by baby and me. Baby cost $2,358.71. And for me, it was $9,283.90. This amount is before any claims from Medisave. It's important to keep in mind that every pregnancy is different and therefore the cost will vary. The thing about medical bills is that there are areas that you can control or rather predict in terms of the cost. So it depends on the hospital you choose, the bed you choose, as well as the gynae you choose. And then there are areas that you can't control or can't predict. The cost if you have to go through an emergency C-section. Going through an emergency section will immediately result into like a hospital bill that is double because you are paying for both the natural delivery as well as a C-section. So you're paying for the delivery ward as well as the operating theatre. Other areas will be the need for medication to manage, let's say, your morning sickness, if you have gestational diabetes, or if you're like me, you have to induce labor. These are all additional costs. My initial consideration was to go for a general anesthesia C-section so that everything will be more controlled, predictable, and less stressful. Imagine going in, asleep and waking up with a baby. That would be nice. But eventually, after comparing the pros and cons as well as seeking our gynae's advice, we decided to go for natural birth, and thank God I managed to push the baby out. After giving birth, there are also additional expenses to consider, such as the hospital stays, postnatal checkups, and other necessary medications and treatment post your delivery. This cost can vary depending on the duration of your hospital stays and any specific medical needs. For postnatal care, I had 3 more additional visits to my doctor. The first one was a week after I given birth, and for that, I gotten more painkillers, and thereafter 2 weeks later to monitor the progress of my womb, and then a month later for pap smear. Both Jingles and I made a very unconventional choice that we decided not to get any confinement nanny for the first month. We decided that it will be just the 2 of us without any help from our parents. So to prepare ourselves for that, we decided to sign up for a class. It's the Parent Craft by baby whisperer Wong Bibi. Really insightful and helpful for us being first time parents. We signed up for the 4 detailed class sessions that was spread over a couple of weekends. So we really had very intensive lessons to prepare ourselves for baby XYZ. The cost for that was $450. So even if you plan to have a confinement nanny, I think it's really good that you can spend time or have some time to go for antenatal class. At least you'll be a bit more prepared when the baby comes. They also can help you prepare for your birth, learning how to give birth, as well as to care for the baby in a scientific manner. Because the knowledge doesn't come to you magically once you become a parent.
I don't know how to, oh shit, wrong.
He's looking annoyed already. Look at his
It's
face.
okay, okay. Hold on. Hold on. Almost done. Alright, this is the last step. I'm gonna fold this. Excuse me.
In or out?
Oh, in. Hey. Hello.
Because we didn't have a confinement nanny, I ordered Tian Wei for my confinement food, and it is $1,530 for 28 days, both lunch and dinner. It was worth the convenience and the food. So all in all, the cost was $1,758.90 for the postnatal care expenses. And that is lesser because we choose not to have a nanny, and I didn't go for any like additional massage. If you choose to go for a nanny, it will cost at least $2,000 to $3,000. Postnatal massage, it will be another $1,000 or so. Because we didn't have that, so our cost is much lower. And because we signed up last year, we also did not have to pay for the additional 1% GST. Insurance coverage and maternity packages. Our financial advisor helped us to compare the different maternity insurance plans from 7 different insurers, and in the end we decided to not get any maternity insurance. The reason is because the insurance do not cover any hospitalization bills fully, and the daily benefit is not significant enough. The coverage are mostly for rare cases and not for common occurrence such as jaundice. Overall, the amount covered in case of any issues versus the premiums that we are going to pay does not make any sense to us. Since most of our hospitalization expenses could be covered by Medisave or integrated shield plan, we decided not to get any maternity plans because our baby and I were generally quite healthy during the entire pregnancy. But of course, in order to have a peace of mind, or if you have the extra money, just go for it. Therefore, the total cost of childbirth in Singapore for me was $13,750.76. This includes the prenatal care and delivery fees. With Medisave, we were able to deduct $4,350 of the medical bills. This includes $900 for pre-delivery expenses, such as doctor visits, and then $1,250 for the delivery procedure itself. That is, for me, the assisted natural delivery, and $1,100 for my 2-night stay in the hospital. There was also another $1,100 for baby's XYZ's hospital stay. And a tip for you is that you have to keep all your receipts when you visit your doctor so that you can submit all your receipts to the hospital to make the claims when you're about to give birth. If you want more details on the maternity package and how much you can claim from your Medisave, I'll put the link in the description section. And one more thing to note is that each Medisave maternity package has a different Medisave withdrawal limits. So depending on the type of delivery procedure that you eventually go for, whether it's cesarean or vaginal delivery, the cost or the amount you can claim is different. Therefore, if you include postnatal care, which is my confinement, the total cost will be $15,730.76. I hope our experience and breakdown of the cost involved in giving birth in Singapore will be helpful for all expecting parents out there. Based on the cost, I can understand why young Singaporeans don't want to give birth. Nowadays, having a child is no longer the same as during our grandparents' time. Previously, having a child is like an asset, but now they are probably a liability that you need to take care until they grow old. And now we all expect a higher standard of care, and that's why I've seen many people choosing private care instead of public care. Also because choosing a private route allows you to choose the gynae that you're comfortable with. And yes, some can choose the public route because it can be way more affordable and perhaps there will not be so much cash outlay. However, I feel that most of our generation still prefer choosing a private care. Using my bills as a benchmark, I will feel that having a baby is really expensive. Even with the baby bonus, you can't cover the cost of the first year in his life. Anyway, my advice to anyone who is pregnant or plan to get pregnant is to maintain a healthier lifestyle as well as a healthy exercise routine. I exercised about 4 times a week before I got pregnant, and when I was pregnant, I exercised about 2 to 4 times a week. And I continued to do so until I was 36 weeks pregnant, about 8 months pregnant. And thanks to weight training, I had a relatively comfortable 3rd trimester. I did not have any backaches, and even though I considered myself quite strong, at the end of my pregnancy, I still do feel some breathlessness when I climb the stairs or I walk a bit faster. So we hope that it was helpful for you to gain insight on how much it costs to give birth in Singapore. I will include the downloadable planner that I've mentioned before, that breaks down the different costs with regards to childbirth and preparing for a baby, and that includes a list of baby and mummies items to buy in preparation for your little one. I wonder if my childbirth cost is something that is surprising to you. Is it way higher or way lower than you expected? Let me know in the comments below. Do you want to give birth after knowing how much we paid for this baby? Thanks for watching. My name is Ying Ying and this is Baby XYZ. Bye bye. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.